Good morning, and welcome to Tuesdays with the Pilgrim, as we continue reading C.S. Lewis's book, The Great Divorce, with Chapter 13, Part B. I don't know what I want, sir. Son, it must be one way or the other. Either the day must come when joy prevails, and all the makers of misery are no longer able to infect it, or else forever and ever the makers of misery can destroy in others the happiness they reject for themselves. I know it is a grand sound to say you'll accept no salvation, which leaves even one creature in the dark outside. But watch that sophistry, or you'll make a dog in a manger the tyrant of the universe. But dare one say, is it horrible to say, that pity must ever die? Ye must distinguish. The action of pity will live forever, but the passion of pity will not. The passion of pity, the pity we merely suffer, the ache that draws men to concede what should not be conceded, and to flatter when they should speak the truth, the pity that has cheated many a woman out of her virginity, and many a statesman out of his honesty, that will die. It was used as a weapon by bad men against good ones. Their weapon will be broken. And what is the other kind? The action? It is a weapon on the other side. It leaps quicker than light from the highest places to the lowest, to bring healing and joy, whatever the cost to itself. It changes darkness into light and evil into good, but it will not, at the cunning tears of hell, impose on good the tyranny of evil. Every disease that submits to a cure shall be cured. But we will not call blue yellow to please those who insist on still having jaundice, nor make a midden of the world's garden for the sake of some who cannot abide the smell of roses. You say it will go down to the lowest, sir? But she didn't go down to hell. She didn't even see him off by the bus. Where would you have had her go? Why, where we all came from, by that bus. The big gulf beyond the edge of the cliff, over there. You can't see it from here, but you must know the place I mean. My teacher gave a curious smile. Look, he said, and with the word he went down on his hands and knees. I did the same. Oh, how it hurt my knees! And presently saw that he had plucked a blade of grass. Using its thin end as a pointer, he made me see, after I had looked very closely, a crack in the soil so small that I could not have identified it without his aid. I cannot be certain, he said, that this is the crack that ye came up through, but through a crack no bigger than that ye certainly came. But, I gasped, with a feeling of bewilderment not unlike terror, but I saw an infinite abyss, with cliffs towering up, and then this country on top of the cliffs. Aye, but the voyage was not mere locomotion. That bus, and all you inside it, were increasing in size. Do you mean, then, that hell, all that infinite empty town, is down in some little crack like this? Yes, all hell is smaller than one pebble of your earthly world, but it is smaller than one atom of this world, the real world. Look at yon butterfly. If it swallowed all of hell, hell would not be big enough to do it any harm, or to have any taste. It seems big enough when you're in it, sir. And yet all loneliness, angers, hatreds, envies, and itchings that it contains, if rolled into one single experience, and put into the scale against the least moment of the joy that is felt by the least in heaven, it would have no weight that could be registered at all. Bad cannot succeed even in being bad as truly as good is good. If all hell's miseries together entered the consciousness of yon wee yellow bird on the bough there, they would be swallowed up without a trace, as if one drop of ink had been dropped into the great ocean to which your terrestrial Pacific itself is only a molecule. I see, said I at last. She couldn't fit into hell. He nodded. There's not room for her, he said. Hell could not open its mouth wide enough, and she couldn't make herself smaller, like Ellis, you know. Nothing like small enough, for a damned soul is nearly nothing. It is shrunk, shut up in itself, Good beats upon the damned incessantly as sound waves beat upon the ears of the deaf, but they cannot receive it. Their fists are clenched, their teeth are clenched, their eyes fast shut. First they will not, in the end they cannot open their hands for gifts, or their mouths for food, or their eyes to see. Then no one can ever reach them? Only the greatest of all can make himself small enough to enter hell. For the higher a thing is, the lower it can descend. A man can sympathize with a horse, but a horse cannot sympathize with a rat. Only one has descended into hell. And will he ever do it again? It was not once long ago that he did it. Time does not work that way when once ye have left the earth. All the moments that have been, or shall be, or are, present in the moment of his descending. There is no spirit in prison to whom he did not preach. And some hear him? Aye. In your own book, sir, I said. You were a universalist. You talked as if all men would be saved, and St. Paul, too. Ye can know nothing of the end of all things, or nothing expressible in those terms. It may be, as the Lord said to the Lady Julian, that all will be well, and all will be well, and all manner of things will be well. But it is ill talking of such questions. Because they are too terrible, sir? No, because the answers deceive. If ye put the question from within time, you are asking about possibilities. The answer is certain. The choice of ways is before you. Neither is closed. Any man may choose eternal death. Those who choose it will have it. But if you are trying to leap on into eternity, if you are trying to see the final state of all things as it will be, for so ye must speak, then there are no more possibilities left, but only the real. Then ye can ask what cannot be answered to mortal ears. Time is the very lens through which ye see, small and clear, as men see through the wrong end of a telescope, something that would otherwise be too big for ye to see at all. That thing is freedom, the gift whereby ye most resemble your Maker, and are yourselves part of eternal reality. But ye can see it only through the lens of time, in a little clear picture through the inverted telescope. It is a picture of moments following one another, and yourself in each moment making some choice that might have been otherwise. Neither the temporal succession, nor the phantom of what ye might have chosen, and didn't, is itself freedom. They are a lens. The picture is a symbol. But it's truer than any philosophical theorem, or perhaps any mystic's vision, that claims to go behind it. For every attempt to see the shape of eternity except through the lens of time destroys your knowledge of freedom. Witness the doctrine of predestination, which shows, truly enough, that eternal reality is not waiting for a future in which to be real, but at the price of removing freedom, which is the deeper truth of the two. And wouldn't universalism do the same? You cannot know eternal reality by definition. Time itself, and all acts and events that fill time, are the definition, and it must be lived. The Lord said we were gods. How long could ye bear to look, without time's lens, on the greatness of your own soul and the eternal reality of her choices? And that's the end of chapter 13. Next week we'll continue with the final chapter, Chapter 14. Until then, take care, stay safe, and God bless.